The golden ratio is something we see in everyday life. We see it in art, we see it in design, we see it in the structure of our universe, the structure of nature, how things are built in architecture. It's very pervasive in human consciousness, human psyche, and it's almost looked at as like a perfection, sort of like order to design and art, how things are made and built using the golden ratio. And looking back, there's many examples. You can look this up. I'm not making this video explaining the golden ratio, the Fibonacci series. You can look that up yourself, but just quickly, I'll show you a few examples of where you can find this golden ratio and how it applies to our life and things we do, things we build, and our ideas and our creations. The golden ratio is based off of a certain principle. A over B equals A plus B over A. And then you get this number, 1.618. And the golden ratio also, there's a basis to it with the Fibonacci series of numbers. As a mathematician, Fibonacci, he was exploring number series. And if you look at the Fibonacci series, it's basically taking a number starting at 0, or the way these numbers are produced. You take the first two numbers, you add them together, and you get your third number. Then you take those last two numbers, create another number. Then you take the last two numbers, add them together, take another number. First it's 1 plus 0, you get a 1. Then you get 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, and then you get 8 plus 5 is 13, and so on and so on. And it just keeps going infinitely. So that's what we're going to use as a basis to build this. I'm coining this phrase, the golden chord progression. Remember, you heard it here first. So any copycats out there, you want to take this idea, please just give me credit. Don't be a fucking douchebag, all right? And say like you came up with it. And if there's a video out there that actually did this, I'm sorry I didn't see it. And if I do find it, I will give you credit. But as far as I've known, I haven't seen this idea on YouTube, but I'm sure someone has thought about it. Anyhow, let's begin. So while in art school, I took this math class, and it was fairly easy. It was like math for artists. So it was kind of like I slept through it and got an A. But this one topic we started studying was the golden ratio, which, you know, definitely really applies to art and the Fibonacci series of numbers. So I started thinking, well, the other day, what about music? How could we apply the golden ratio to music? So I thought of the golden chord progression. How could we make a golden chord progression? Let's take the Fibonacci series of numbers, break them down, and supply chords to them. So looking at chords being numbers, how we have 1 to 7, looking at a major key, we just look at the Fibonacci series, and once it goes past the number 7, just like in music, we'll just go into the second octave, or just go back and make the 8 a 2, an 8 a 1, a 9 a 2, a 10 a 3, and so on and so on. So I came up with this chord progression, and this is what we're going to look at in this video and see what, if anything, how the golden ratio and the Fibonacci series apply to music, if we can get something musical out of it. Breaking down the Fibonacci series into chords, we use this key of C major. We get a 1 chord, which is C major 7, followed by a 2 chord, D minor 7, a 3 chord, E minor 7, 5 chord, we get a G7, another 1 chord, C major 7, which is the 8. So we got 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, which are going to turn into a 1 chord. And then we get a 13, we're going to turn into a 6 chord. Get a 21, we turn into a 7th chord. 34 into a 6th chord. 55 into a 6th chord. And 89 into a 5th chord. And we get something that sounds like this. could also do something where on the 13 chord that we turn into a 6 chord, we can turn into an A minor 7 add 13. I tried just using a minor 13. It doesn't sound good at all. Where you get the A minor 13, it's just a little too much. So I'm thinking A minor 7 add 13. And for the 7th chord, for the B diminished, we're going to play a B minor 7 flat 5. So then we'll get something like, we could also do something where the second G7, dominant 7, instead of playing it here, if we want to play it a little higher up, I was thinking we could play it here to give it that jump to the second octave. Go back to the 1 chord at the end. So we're going back to the 1 chord after that last G7. Let me try playing that one more time. Doesn't sound so bad actually. It's like a song, kind of like that. So fool around with that, you guys. You know, I always looked at music like it's math. It's definitely based around math. There are definitely rules to music. I'm not saying there are rules that are like strict guidelines and you have to follow them, but there's like a structure and order to music, and that's why you have like wrong notes versus right notes. And yes, you can definitely break the rules. And that's what this world and science and math are all about. And that's why we have the golden ratio and the Fibonacci series, is looking at numbers in a different way. We can look at music in another way. But there's a reason why we add numbers to music. Because it's very much mathematically based.